In this video, I will show you how to use modifiers to make your models even better. So I'm going to show you some very common modifiers that are used to help your models literally look very good. So over here, I have made a chair, very simple model of a chair. So now that looks very sharp. As you can see, it is a bit sharp from here. So if I go into edit mode of this, you can literally see how sharp that is. Now, when we have something that is sharp and you want it to have like something to be like rounder, we have a modifier for this. Now, the modifier is, if you go to the modifiers properties tab, it's this wrench sign over here. Add modifiers and generate, you will go to Bevel Modifier. This will literally smooth out edges, very sharp edges. Another way you can find it is just search bevel and then select that. As you can see, we will it will kind of smooth out the edges. Now, what you want to do is that you will first of all tell the modifier how much you want it to be beveled, the amount. I'll probably like it about there, and then the segments will make it a bit more rounder. Now, bear in mind, the more segments you have, the slower the computer will be. Now, the maximum is 100. And it depends on your computer how well it can handle that. And if you go into edit mode, nothing will really happen because modifiers are non-destructive to your mesh, so nothing will really happen. Okay, and you can see that now it's more rounder. Now another modifier will be very useful if I go to this UV sphere here. Now if I go to my edit mode, you will see that I have so many faces. If I zoom in, as you can see, we literally have so many. And if I zoom out, you can literally see that. It's so dark. That is how many vertices there are. And faces. Now, if you want to get rid of them, you want to like make it a bit smaller. Like get rid of these random vertices that you do not want. There's a modifier for this, and it's the Decimate Modifier. Now, the Decimate Modifier will literally subdivide it. And sometimes, over here, will show you how many faces are gone. Now, sometimes what it will usually do is that, right now what I've done is that these are not faces, these are edges, so it won't really work. Now, if you want it to work, you have to go into object mode. Now, unsubdivide it, and you can see how many faces are being removed. So move it back. Now, when we have 0 iterations, you'll see that we have a face count of 114,688 faces in this whole UV sphere. Now, if you want to get rid of them, if you do 1 iteration, it will remove it to 57,344. Now, if you do 2, it will remove it to 28,000. Let's do 3, 14,000, and keep on going for 7,000. Now, if you check, nothing will really happen, but the faces are being removed in a non-destructive way, so you won't really see it in the edit mode. Okay. If you keep on going to 5 and 8, I think 8 would look alright. After that, and let's do 9. Yes, I think this is now looking really good. Now, if you shade it smooth, it should look alright. Now, shade auto smooth is also a modifier now in Blender 4.2, so you don't need to worry about that. But if you just do right click shade auto smooth, then it will really work. Now, we're going to move on to another modifier that is very useful. Now, over here, if I go into the edit mode of this, you see I've just extruded out a bunch of vertices. Now, what this is useful for is that if I go into one, first of all, I literally get a vertex. What you can also do is Shift A, and in object mode, obviously, Shift A, mesh, and go into single vert. If you don't have this option in the preferences, enable extra objects. But then once you've done that, I just extruded it like this. Now, what modifier we're going to use? The modifier that we're going to use is going to be the screw modifier. The screw modifier is very simple. We're going to screw the shape and it's going to make it into an actual shape. So you generate screw. As you can see, it makes this. Now, this is actually amazing. Now, as you can see, we have a hole here because we have to actually fill it in. Now, as you can see, this is still a curve. This is still effectively a curve. Now, to fix this, it's very simple. What you need to do is that to make it into actual mesh, select this object and go to object, convert it into a mesh. Now, if you see that it will have some vertices and the modifier is now gone. Now, if you want to fix this, now you will select this loop like that, and then scale it down, and then merge accents. And as you can see, we have a surface that you can see at. Now, that is another very useful modifier. Then this actually saves time, and for this one, for this modifier, you actually then your computer goes kind of fast, because if you have so many faces in an object, your blender will literally crash. This has happened multiple times, and when I heard about the Decimate Modifier, it really helped me. Okay, now I'm gonna look at another one. Now we have a text here that says subscribe, and we have a sphere that is shaded smooth. As you can see, I shaded it smooth. Now the subscribe button is telling you to subscribe, so please subscribe. It's kind of free. Yes. Is right down there, and down the modifier that we're going to use is going to be the shrink wrap modifier. So this, what it will do is that it will literally shrink wrap it on the thing. Now normally, if you don't know about the shrink wrap modifier, what you would usually do is get this. First of all, I'm gonna have to turn it into a mesh, but effectively you will try to put this, wrap it around this modifier and try to make it round or something like that. But now we have a modifier for this. So what we usually do is that we select this, add modifier, it's going to be in the form shrink wrap modifier. Now the target, we have to get this pin icon, select it, and select the target. Now as you can see, the subscribe button will go on there. Now, as you can see, that's went in there, and you do not want that. You will want it to be above the surface. You can change it to above the surface, on surface, but I would usually do it to project. Or for this type of thing, I might just do it nearest vertex. But normally you should do it nearest surface point, and then if it doesn't really work and it goes into the thing, what you should do is create an offset, or you can add a subdivision surface modifier. Okay, this one is this you've used where it's too round and it's a bit shaded smooth, so that's why it's kind of weird. But it usually always would work. Now, if your text is inside and you don't want it to be inside, what you would do after the shrink wrap modifier, add a modifier, you're going to add a solidify modifier. I would touch on that after a little bit more, but you would add a thickness to it, and then it should work. Now, obviously, with the shrink wrap modifier, you want it to be above, so then it won't crash like that, and then you can add the subdivision surface modifier. Okay, right now it's not working. Probably because a blender glitch, something like that. But it should work when you're doing it, okay? Now, I'm going to quickly delete these modifiers. I don't want them, because then it will make my blender go very slow, because I have a million modifiers now. Now, over here, I want to talk about the solidify modifier more. So what the solidify modifier usually does is that it adds thickness. So you can increase this thing, as you can see, in making it thick. So we can literally create the cube that is over there. Okay? Now, once we've done that, now another modifier that's very useful. You can apply the modifier if you want. Apply it. Another modifier is the array modifier. So instead of duplicating and move it forward like that, duplicate, keep on duplicating in a straight line. As you can see, they're not straight. They're supposed to be like that. So instead of doing this a million times, what you can do is delete everything, except from this one. Add a modifier to this, which is the array modifier. Now the array modifier, what we do is connect and add two faces, like 10 faces together. Now you can create an offset between them, like that. Now you can see they are aligned, and this is in a non-destructive way. And as you can see, we can only see this one because it's non-destructive. And then what you can also do is that after you've done that, add another modifier, add the same array modifier, and do it on the y-axis instead, to 0 here, and then 1 there, and then add a offset, and then count it up to there, and increase it like that. Now we have 10 by 10, as you can see, that looks kind of cool. And then if you want to change one of them, all of them will be changed. So if I make a change in this cube, this is the parent cube. So let's select these vertices, and then if I scale it down, all of them should scale down like that. As you can see, it's the parent of all of them, and that looks cool. Now this is normally used to make chessboards in Blender, but yes, you probably get an idea of how it works. And that is all the modifiers you need to know to make your Blender models look amazing, and they're very effective as well. There are also so many other modifiers that if I continue to explain them, this video will be too long for you. But those are the main ones. But the physics ones are amazing. You can play with cloth physics, collision physics, dynamic paint, explosion, fluid. I probably have a video in my YouTube channel, so you can check that out as well. And particle system, and that's why particle system is a whole nother thing. If you go particle system, you have it over there. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share to anyone who needs it, turn on the bell, and I'll see you in another video.